Sunday morning. How's everybody? We had a very nice family gathering yesterday with my three grandkids were there, and Ruby's two sons and their wives, and her sister, and her son and his girlfriend, I guess. I don't know if they're getting married or what. She's pregnant, but I don't know what the story is. Marriage isn't a necessity down here anymore. Strange as it seems, but and I understand that. I think if you care about a person, and marriage isn't a necessity like it was before, because I got married only to keep my wife in the country. So at the time, and now I'm in her country. She wishes she could get rid of me. She will one day. She won't like it, but she will. So there's hundreds of thousands of people protested yesterday all over the world against Donald Trump. Trump played golf, didn't care. Okay? That goes back to his favorite saying, I could care less, These people don't bother him. He's not upset by it. You read these headlines. Trump panics as protests evolve. And no, he doesn't panic because he doesn't care. All right? He doesn't, first of all, he doesn't really pay attention to anything. He never reads anything, If you remember from his first term, they said he would give the security clearances to one of his aides to read for him because he didn't read it. And I don't know whether that means he can't read or he just doesn't want to read, or maybe he needs glasses and he won't put them on. I have no idea what that was all about to this day, and that's, 8-9 years ago now. So the fact that he hasn't a clue as to what's going on until somebody tells him, and then you have to understand his attitude is that when he walks into a room, he is the smartest man in that room. Okay, which gets complicated when Musk is in the room and Vance is in the room, because their IQs are probably higher than Trump's, and they believe the same thing when they believe they're the smartest people in the room when they walk in, and that's not true. Given a set of circumstances, particular circumstances, they probably are the smartest person to discuss certain topics. Trump's real estate, that's as far as I can go with him. That's the only thing I know he knows anything that he's ever worked in and that he might know something about. Other than that, he's just full of shit. He doesn't know anything about anything. Or he's sort of like, I guess somewhat like me. I know a lot about everything and a little about nothing in particular. If you understand what I mean. I have a very broad spectrum of things, but I'm not an expert in any field. And I don't really care about that because I never found it necessary to be an expert. I found that being a bartender for so many years that it was important that I was able to talk about everything, understand everything. So I would read 3 newspapers before I came to work. And Trump doesn't read anything. In the news, I have found one thing. I don't know whether it's because you can see instantaneous results, but I don't think the news is as accurate today as it was back then. I don't think we get it quite as fast. You can go to a live television program like CNN where they'll what's the other one where you could actually watch Congress and stuff like that. You can do that. But in terms of getting verifiable news on TV, it's kind of old. The best thing, the closest we come to live is the station Caracol, which is located in Bogota and has this reporter who's been doing this for years. Covers the night, and he'll tell you what happened at night. Most of it's not nice. Most of it's got nothing to do with politics, because politicians don't do anything at night. No decisions are made at night in Colombia. Crimes are committed at night, but nothing. Nothing. What's the term I'm looking for? Political happens during the night, because they break at 3 o'clock or something like that. They shut down their Congress and everything else, because none of these people live across the street. They live a little far away. They don't do They don't have like filibusters. At least I don't think they do. They might, but that doesn't get reported. The president of Colombia can disappear for weeks at couple weeks at a time, and nobody knows where he is or what he's doing. And the next thing you know, certain laws are being introduced and whatnot, and you don't know, well, what happened to them? Well, they got passed, but they have to be this, and this before we can do anything about it. So you got about a year before anything takes effect. It's very slow. And America is basically you have two kinds of things: Trump yelling and screaming and passing executive orders, which I think at some point in time has to be changed somewhat to take that power away from the President of the United States. I'm sure he'll do something about it just before he leaves, because he doesn't want anybody to remove his. He doesn't want the next president to come in to, get rid of all his executive orders. And even if they do that, it's still going to take a couple of years for what he did in a month, or in the first month. It's going to take a couple of years to straighten that mess out. His biggest mistake was Elon Musk in the Doge, or Doge, or however you want to pronounce it. Okay, Doge, I think is probably better as I look at it. That's what you get rid of that. And you should never put that in, and Musk is another one of these people that believes everything he does is absolutely right. There's no well, maybe I could be wrong. No, I'm right, you're wrong. That's the end of it. He didn't know how to take the loss in Wisconsin. He really didn't understand that. He put money up. His money couldn't buy the election. He's going to change his tactics. I think he'll just try, more control over the election next time around. And even Trump wasn't that interested in it. I think Trump made one endorsement the whole time. He left it up to Musk, and Musk is not a politician. Musk doesn't know how to deal with people. Musk can be very nice and generous and whatnot, but again, it's all about his money. It's not about him personally. It's about what his money can do. That he can, he understands what his money can do, and by being nice to the elderly or something like that, he has an ulterior motive. At least it appears that way. I don't think he's a very nice man. He's smart in his own field. He's not smart in politics, or other things. He's another one of these. I think all geniuses are narrow-minded to a specific science or social endeavor, or whatever you want to. They do. They're excellent at that. The rest of the things that they do are just bullshit. And Trump has got this idea that he can make a deal with anyone. And if it's just me and him in a room, I can tell you this because I'm old and I don't give a shit anymore. But I can tell you this for a fact, okay? If the only two people involved in making the deal are me and him, and the only people that are going to be affected are me and him, he ain't getting the deal. I don't care what it costs me. But I'm not making the deal with him. But if you see where he gets to make deals is he brings people's relatives into the situation, gets them jobs, offers them money, puts outside pressure on that individual. And could he do it to me? Sure he could. You know, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give a shit. You know, so you have this going on, this I could care less attitude that you know, it's just driving people crazy. And that's what I was, you know, started off by. I got this information from, I'm reading these headlines on, I read these headlines on YouTube News, and they say, oh, the Trump panics as California governor goes behind his back. Trump panics as protests emerge. As hundreds of thousands of people protest. No, he doesn't. He doesn't because he doesn't care. He doesn't, like I said, he may not even be aware of a lot of what's going on, you know? He has his mind set on what he's going to do, and I'm pretty sure he has people whispering in his ear now, telling him what they want to happen, you know, and he's letting it happen because, you know, I'll give you $5 million for this, don't worry about it. And that's the kind of man he is, you know, he's all about himself. And right now, one of the things he doesn't care about is his legacy. His legacy is going to be horrible with the common man, but he doesn't care. Rich people love this guy, and he's admired rich people since he was very little. You know, people that were richer than him. Right? He's always. That's the thing about rich people. They always want to have more money than the next guy. Doesn't always work out that way for them, you know, but that's how they operate. You know, you think, I'm not that sure about Musk, because Musk is losing money. Musk is more about, he wants to be the ruler of Mars. And he's talking about, in the next 3 years, building a permanent station on the moon. Yeah. Well, the problem with that is he's going to have a lot of problems with other countries, you know. So I don't know how he's going to do that, but we'll see. You know, we don't own the moon. You know, we don't own. If you say, well, the first one there, the first one into space was a Russian. Does that mean the Russians own space? You know, all you do when you do something, you put a base up on the moon, is you're going to cause you increase the potential for conflict. Or if you do it by yourself, you know, if you do it as an American base, you increase the possibility of conflict. And yes, we have a space force, and yes, we have some weapons that'll work in space, and we're probably developing more. All right. I don't know how much I wandered. I can't remember what I said when I started. This is Sunday. So do me a favor. Take mercy on me. Go subscribe to the channel. You know, and like it. So, and, you know, tell your friends about it. So maybe they can watch it and they can laugh at me or whatever. You know, the fat guy that's sitting here just pissed off at Donald Trump all the time, you know. That's what I should call this post. Pissed at Donald Trump all the time. All the time pissed at Donald Trump. I don't know. All right, listen, it's a little shorter than usual, but I'm bored and I'm tired, and I've got some other things I've got to take care of today. My wife is going out to lunch, so I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.